Hey everybody, this is Pastor Tony, and welcome to Sunday Leftovers. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed how the parts of the Christmas story that we don't often talk about actually make the parts that we do talk about even more powerful? This week in our sermon series, The Invasion, When Heaven Came Down, we stepped into a Christmas passage nobody expects, Revelation chapter 12. It's wild, intense, and it's nothing like the nativity scenes that we place on our mantles. A woman crying out in labor, a dragon waiting to devour her child, heaven moving toward earth, hell resisting with everything that it has. It is the cosmic Christmas story, the behind-the-scenes battle of Bethlehem. But what I want to do today in Sunday Leftovers is lay Revelation 12 side by side with Isaiah chapter 9. Because when you hold those two passages together, you begin to see a fuller picture of Christmas, maybe more than you ever have before. For many of us, Isaiah 9 is familiar. We quote it every year. For unto us a child is born, and the government will be on his shoulders. But here's a connection I want us to lean into. Revelation 12 shows us the invasion, but Isaiah 9 shows us the intention. Revelation is the war, but Isaiah is the promise. Revelation shows us the conflict, but Isaiah is the comfort. And Revelation shows us the dragon, but Isaiah shows us the child. And together, they give us a breathtaking truth for this message in week 1. Christmas is God keeping a promise in the middle of a war. Isaiah 9 tells us the child would come into darkness. Revelation 12 shows us why the darkness was so deep. Isaiah 9 starts with the people walking in darkness, not in inconvenience or difficulty, but in darkness. Now, Isaiah never tells us why the darkness is so thick. He doesn't show what's behind it, but Revelation chapter 12 does. There's a dragon, a spiritual enemy, a real adversary, and a cosmic war waging behind the scenes of human history. And Isaiah 9 promises that a great light is coming. Now, over in Revelation, it shows us that the moment the light comes, that darkness is trying to stop it. And when you put these two passages together, you understand that the darkness wasn't a political thing. It wasn't a moral thing. It wasn't an emotional thing. The darkness was spiritual. And God sent the light knowing full well that the enemy would meet him at the cradle. And that deepens the meaning of Christmas. God didn't avoid the darkness. He invaded it. Isaiah 9 gives us titles for the child, while Revelation 12 shows us why the child had to deserve them. Isaiah calls him Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, and Prince of Peace. Beautiful names, names that we hang on banners, we put in picture frames and hang them on our walls, names we sing about. But here's the question that Revelation 12 answers. Why would this child need to be so powerful, so mighty, so capable? Because the moment he was born, the dragon was waiting. Isaiah tells us who he is. Revelation tells us why he must be who he is. If there's a dragon trying to devour the promise, if there's a spiritual war behind the nativity, if heaven is invading enemy territory, then the child must be mighty and eternal and wise and sovereign and strong enough to carry the government on his shoulders. Isaiah shows us his identity, but Revelation shows us his necessity. Isaiah 9 says the government will rest on his shoulders, while Revelation 12 shows us that the shoulders that bore the weight. In Isaiah 9, that phrase sounds so peaceful. The government will be on his shoulders. And let's be honest, nobody puts a government on a baby's shoulders unless that baby is King of Kings, unless that baby came to conquer, unless that baby is born into war. Revelation tells us that the victory is already secure. It says her child was caught up to God and to his throne. The throne. That's where the government on his shoulders ends up. Not in a stable, but in sovereignty. Isaiah shows us the throne he deserves. Revelation shows us the path he took to get there. Isaiah 9 promises peace. Revelation 12 shows peace comes at a cost. Isaiah gives us the famous line, the Prince of Peace. But peace in Scripture has never meant the absence of conflict. It means victory after the conflict. Peace had to be won. Peace had to be secured. Peace had to be purchased by the arrival and eventual sacrifice of Jesus. And Revelation 12 shows the conflict that was required for peace to be born. Isaiah 9 shows the peace that results from the child's victory. Christmas is not a Hallmark card. It's the invasion of heaven to bring peace through battle. So what does all of this mean for your life this week? Well, let's bring it home this way. First, I want you to see, if you feel like you're walking in darkness, Isaiah 9 says a light is coming. You have not been abandoned. If you feel spiritual pressure, Revelation 12 says the enemy fights what God is birthing. Your battle may be pointing to God's movement in your life. If you feel overwhelmed, Isaiah 9 says the government is on his shoulders, not yours. You are not carrying what he is responsible for, nor should we try to. I know a lot of times Christians bear burdens that they are not meant to bear. It was for Christ alone. I also want you to see that if you feel like the enemy is loud, then Revelation 12 says the child reigns and the dragon loses. Victory is already written. If you feel stuck waiting, Isaiah 9 says God keeps his promises even when the timeline is long. He is never late. When you put all of this together, Isaiah and Revelation give you this hope, that Christmas is the proof that God keeps his promises even when the darkness fights back. As you walk through days 1 through 7 of our devotional this week, and I'll make sure if you haven't seen them yet, the links will be in the description of this video. I want you to keep two passages in mind. Isaiah 9, the promise in the dark, and Revelation 12, the war behind the promise. Light does not come lightly, and peace does not come cheaply. And salvation doesn't come quietly, but they came because Jesus came, and he came for you.